not sponsoring us that we won't.
Instead of the sponsor that we have, which is us.
That's right.
Hey, America. Are we done? Hey, America. Welcome to the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin. It's presented by, let me see who, the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin. Let me ask you this. Are you a big dumb idiot? If the answer is no, certainly you would like to come on this show. You can apply at the ericandrodneyshow.com. Now, if you're not a big dumb idiot, obviously you know the value of being on podcasts. We can book you on 1 million podcasts. Go to the ericandrodneyshow.com. And if you're not a big dumb idiot, and you're not because you're watching the show, obviously you want your own show because fame and fortune and drugs are great. We can help you out with that. Go to the ericandrodneyshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, very special guest today, Jonathan Buckley, the CMO of Crux. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Jonathan. Welcome.
Jonathan, where are you? We didn't talk in the green room. Where are you in the United States?
St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida.
Nice.
Thank God. I thought maybe you were in California way, and then it would be very early. And I hate
it's like
it's
2 a.m. there.
It's 2 a.m. It's too early to be on a radio show or whatever this is. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming here. I know that you've watched some episodes, but just to remind the general viewing audience, the first half of the show, we cover the news because America demands our opinions on such things. The second half of the evening is the Jonathan Buckley Hour. But before we get there, we have to talk about the national day. Every day in the United States, some reason to celebrate, some reason to get excited. Today, I think this is, we talked about this in the green room serendipitously, but I don't know if you know this. It's the Great American Smokeout. So what you're supposed to do today, if you're a smoker, is go 24 hours without smoking. Do any of you smoke cigarettes?
Nope.
No, because it's fucking ridiculous. So I was thinking it is pretty I'm going to shut the ticker off because it's distracting Rodney. I think smoking is pretty trashy, right? It smells bad. It causes cancer. It's expensive. You look like an asshole. So I was really hoping that more red states would smoke than blue states, and I could do something about aren't we superior? But it's really, first of all, the chart's hard to read. Massachusetts, 19% of us smoke. So you're in Florida, that's only 20. New York is 22. It's not that much higher. So I had to go to countries. Look at the highest rates of smoking. In Indonesia, 71% of people smoke.
Wow.
Asians love smoking cigarettes, Robin. Why is that?
They love Marlboro Reds.
Do you like Marlboro Reds?
Part of it is because there's not that much tax on cigarettes as there is in the West. So cigarettes are like dirt cheap here.
Hear me out. There's no tax on ice, but I don't go around chewing that all the time either. Like there has to be more to it than simply it's not expensive.
Yeah, there's no tax on illegal drugs, but we don't do that either. So I mean, here we are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
I was afraid if you did Europe that it would just be a blaze, be a cigarette butt.
So I looked up, this is okay. I looked up global smoking rates and we were like 6th or 7th and the rest were European countries. And I figured that it had to not include Asia because I lived in South Korea and everyone fucking smokes. Asians are famous for smoking all the time, but it's neither here nor there. I just wanted to make a chart of where I think smoking things lies. So this is the non-official Eric and Rodney Show, the Robin smoking hierarchy. This goes in reverse order, by the way. I think the worst thing you could smoke. Hold on, let's say hi to Caesar, the Mushroom King. Welcome, Caesar.
Caesar, happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. What are you going to do for your birthday?
Happy birthday.
He's watching the Eric and Rodney Show. I mean, it's already starting out all right.
Have a little psilocybin for breakfast. Watch the Eric and Rodney Show. Well, happy birthday, buddy. You look great for your mid-20s. All right.
Sure does.
So I think the worst thing you could smoke in public is crack. I think we all agree. And I'm not against cocaine, but I think if you whip out a crack pipe at a party or a bar mitzvah, people are going to be concerned, right?
Yeah.
I think number 2 is regular cigarettes. That's also pretty trashy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Number 3, vaping strawberry shortcake bullshit. You know, like these large puffs of smoke that trashy teens do.
The ones that you can climb into.
Yes, I just don't.
Yeah, those.
I don't think that's a great look, and I think it.
They do smell nice though.
They do. They smell delightful. Like
it's like you're coming around the corner and you're like, it's a bakery.
Who's making muffins? Oh, it's just the guy with the sleeve tattoo. That's weird.
Yeah.
He's making muffins.
He's making muffins on the street corner. Oh, we love you, Caesar.
We love you.
That's not just the drugs talking, but it is the drugs talking. Vaping weed. Now, I think Rodney, I know this is your preferred method. I think it's fine. I think it's a means to an end, but it's not as cool as smoking a joint or a blunt, right? Can we just say that that's still cooler than vaping weed?
Definitely.
Yeah. It's not as techy.
It's not as and it seems just more organic, harder core in some way. It's hearkening of to like Snoop Dogg. It's just it feels better. But then I
Right.
think we get into the upper tier of smoking things. I think cigars is still pretty classy. I don't partake myself. My father smokes cigars. I wish it was a thing I could get into to feel like a man because I do no manly things. But that's
So you
manly.
should smoke one and inhale it like a cigarette, and you will feel like a man. You will feel like you will feel like you are the number one in smoking cigarettes.
It hurts, doesn't it?
You
It
won't be
hurts
able to
make me
breathe.
cry.
Yeah, you'll die.
They say it's healthier though than cigars. It's just bad
Well,
for
I
your
think
teeth.
because you don't inhale, you're not supposed to inhale.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
But honestly, I think I'd rather get lung cancer than jaw cancer. They cut your fucking jaw because jaw and tongue, I think, is what cigars give you. Number 6, I think pipes is a really fucking classy look. If someone smokes a pipe, I think they're mysterious. They're interesting. You're probably sexually attracted to them in some way, right? Like, who the fuck smokes pipes? Do you guys know any pipe smokers? Not
Sherlock
crack
Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes. Boy, that might be it.
Popeye.
Popeye.
Popeye. But Popeye wasn't
That's
as
pretty cool.
sophisticated because he had a corn pipe,
That's a corn pipe.
right?
That's an
Sherlock Holmes
Appalachian
had that one
pipe.
like this. He was like,
Yeah.
"My
Are
dear
those
Watson."
Are those the only 2 pipe smokers we can come up with in the history of mankind?
I think so.
That's
Oh.
it. That's all we got.
So
Johnny Depp looks like he smokes pipes.
Johnny Depp does look like he's
Johnny
he
Depp
looks
at this
he
point looks
smells
like he's just eating the tobacco.
Yeah.
He's turned into a cigarette. Yikes.
And then somehow serendipitously, I figured that smoking crystallized desert toad venom or 5-MeO DMT is probably the coolest thing you can smoke, right? Because
Yeah.
you die. Evidently, you talk to God, you're exposed to some truth. No one on the panel has to say whether or not they've done this or not. But if they have, would you imagine that it's very good, Jonathan? Would you say? What would speculate on how good this might be?
It is. I would imagine that it's kind of life changing. Yeah, 5-MeO is. It's not recreational for sure. It's ceremonial, and you use it like ayahuasca, or other people use other things ceremoniously to sort of resolve conflicts. It erases your ego for 15 minutes. That's what it's supposed to do.
So you wouldn't recommend it for like a child's birthday or a Super Bowl party. You want to do something.
You need it quiet in a quiet place where you feel safe. Yeah.
I
These are
usually
the
suggest for a
words,
child's party is a Xanax is what I used to go with.
for you or the
that's
children?
appropriate. Well, for me, I don't
Oh, God.
because here's the thing, right? I can only control myself. So if
That's
I
right.
take the Xanax, I'm out. If the children, I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Maybe they counteract it with Kool-Aid.
The
don't know.
weird thing about 5-MeO allegedly is that it erases you for where you erases your ego, but 15, 20 minutes later, well, maybe more like a half an hour later, it's like nothing happened, like you had an iced tea or something.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. No hangover. Here's my concern, and Andy, stick around because you're going to make an appearance later in the show. When you say you lose your ego, is it the ego that we think of, like the ego that like I love myself and I think I'm the greatest thing? Like, is that what you lose, or is it deeper than that in some way?
It's the deep, subtle barriers that keep you from resolving conflict of some sort that might be floating around in your head, whether you consciously know of them or not. I don't know. Mother issues.
Don't they kind of say you kind of exit your physical body and you just kind of float? Is that what they mean?
Yes, absolutely. And then darkness. It's supposed to be from people who have died and come back. It's supposed to be a pretty similar experience.
So it's like a near-death experience in some ways?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Allegedly.
So this is, I try to explain to people because I used to float in sensory deprivation chambers, and it feels like it's like doing drugs, right? After for like 3 hours, you feel fucking amazing. The wind makes you want to cry. Fruit tastes better. Sex is amazing. And people go, well, how long does it last? I go, well, it lasts a couple hours. But what you would take away from it is that's how life can feel. So you know that there's a higher plane of existence. That's where I think the beauty, and I guess with something like a 15-minute trip where you die, it's not just the 15 minutes. You carry on with that knowledge that that's who you could be or what life is like or some truth, right?
Yeah, it changes you. It changes you. And in my case, I've resolved some things that, going to a therapist couldn't help, and it really just, you have epiphanies. You can't do allegedly 5-MeO DMT without walking away with some new learning. And keep in mind, you need to have a guide, be in a safe place, and the guide sort of helps everything from the dosing to helping you meditate on an issue or issues that are plaguing you, and then you'll have a good result from people reporting.
From what you've read.
Yeah, from what you've read. From what
That's the
you've
thing,
read.
though, Eric. So we can't do it during lunch. That's what I'm hearing.
Well,
I thought 5MEO jumped the shark when Town and Country did an article on it.
oh Jesus.
Mm.
I'm telling you, captains of industry I've met through that community. It's pervasive with a good group of people,
I don't want to bring this conversation too far to a dark place, but I'd much rather that the rich, powerful people do that than kind of the shit they've historically done. Like, I don't know, get on a plane to Pedophile Island. Maybe just do some 5-MeO DMT and shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? That's much better for me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me ask you this one more
You can't
thing.
do it during lunch, then, Eric.
Well, I don't know.
Out.
It's only 15 minutes. If you have a half-hour lunch break, I'm sure you
Well, if we go to Pizza Hut, we could probably do the first 15 there, and then
on the way home.
Right.
Jonathan, from what you've read, do they get better as you do it more? Like, is the first trip any different than, say, the third trip?
No, it's not progressive in any way.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Who would have thunk that we'd have a whole thing that we'd go from National Smokeout Day to learning all about 5-MeO DMT? This show, all it does is teach people. All right, what's the first news story? This is Jesus.
Oh,
I was.
By the way, they're using it with great results with veterans at certain places to resolve PTSD issues. There's a lot of science that's starting to go into this area, like psilocybin and other things. Anyway, that's it on that.
Well, real quick, because listen, while we're here, Caesar's big on mushrooms. I think he just posted today something on LinkedIn about using psilocybin for PTSD.
He did.
Here's the thing. I say this all the time. The one charity I support is the Home Base program. 22 veterans kill themselves a day. Whatever we're doing isn't working. We need to try other things. And if that's it, like, whatever it fucking takes to solve this problem, let's do. And it's not like this is wacky shit. Like, the toad venom's weird, but it's organic. Eating mushrooms might feel funny, but it's organic, right? So anyway,
it needs to be normalized.
Yeah, I think it needs to be normalized. Speaking of things that need to be fucking normalized, what's the first story, Robin?
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I was honestly a bit skeptical about covering this story because we kind of have to walk on eggshells. But I have to say I'm quite a fan of this. So it's a concept and a celebration. Hong Kong just had an event organized by the LGBT community called the Gay Games, where the gay community could get together and play some sports at a friendly tournament. So it also includes music, dancing, and talks to push for gay rights. So I thought this was wonderful because you probably don't really know about this, but people in Asia tend to be extremely traditional and homophobic. So a lot of people are just forced to stay in the closet. But it is nice that they now have their own sporting event and encourages them to finally just be comfortable being who they are. I did a very PC take on this. Eric, don't screw it up.
You did. What about half the article where they say that nobody wants these games in their fucking countries? Here, I'm gonna tell you about the truth about this. And we touched on it briefly yesterday. There are 195 countries in the world. 34 of them allow gay marriage. 64 of them, it's illegal to be gay. 5 countries, being gay is punishable by death. We are in the year 2023. And you still need shit like this. And I think it's a goddamn abomination. And it's disgusting. And it's strictly punitive. Like, there's no reason to not allow gays to get married and live their lives other than you don't like it. But it doesn't affect you. It's a victimless crime. Shut the fuck up already. But it's pervasive. Like, it's twice as many countries it's illegal to be gay than you can get married in the year 2023. Help me understand this. Does anybody know?
It's insanity.
Well, I looked it up. You think, oh, it's biblical, right? And you're fucking right. Oh, you can't really read it. So here's the grand irony here. Most of the countries where it allows gay marriage happen to be Christian nations. The Bible, as far as I can tell, is the only thing that comes out strongly against homosexuality. So Leviticus 18:22. Do not have sexual relations with a man as you would a woman. The New International Version says it's detestable. The King James Version says it's an abomination. And the New International Reader's Version says, do not have sex with a man as you would a woman. I hate that. Do you think that's how God talks? I hate that. That's conceptually weird, right? Okay.
The new version will say not a fan.
Not a fan. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Here's the thing. So I looked it up. The Quran doesn't say anything. It doesn't like it, but if they repent, they should be left alone. Hinduism scattered all over the place. Buddhism doesn't say anything, and Sikhism doesn't say anything. So where's the hatred for the gays coming from, if not God? I know where it comes from, the Christian nations, but these other countries' texts don't say anything. So why is it? What's the fucking problem? I think I'm preaching to the choir. I think we need an anti-gay person, but what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I had a connecting flight once to Abu Dhabi, and when I landed, like there was a huge signboard there that said no homosexuality. Like that was the one thing that they were pushing.
Just at the airport, or once you get to your Airbnb, is that allowed? Or
it was like the first thing. It was like the first sign you saw after you came out of the plane.
No, Lordy, sweet.
I have a question though. Here's a question I have: is that I actually had a friend of mine who was ended up becoming an FBI agent, believe it or not, and there was extensive training. He was a policeman. It was a whole process. I guess I should ask him, but I'll just ask here: how do you train to look for homosexuality? How do you? What's the like? You can usually tell if somebody has a weapon. You know what I mean? Maybe you can tell the way they're moving. Somebody's you know what I'm saying? Like you could tell, like if a guy's running with his sack over his back and it looks like the Hamburglar, maybe he stole something.
I think sometimes there's some real obvious signs. If they're carrying a rainbow flag, I think maybe that's probably a sign. Like if I'm just pontificating on how you would tell, but other than that, I think sometimes it's tough to tell. Because
some of these bandanas is what it looks like here. It could either be a Tibetan prayer cloth,
oh yeah,
or a street gang in LA.
Plus, even a rainbow. Who doesn't love rainbows? Aren't rainbows?
You got rainbows and the French.
Yeah, right. I mean,
how can you hate this? I don't get it.
I don't know how. I don't know how anyone hates anything to this degree. Anyway, so they had to split the games between Hong Kong and Guadalajara. I'm sorry, I'm white. I can't say anything. But these are the games, and I don't want to get canceled. But I'm just saying, I think there could have been, if you're doing the gay Olympics, can't you do better games? This is a lot of the regular Olympic stuff.
I have a challenge already here. I see. Yeah. No pickleball. I don't.
No, there's no pickleball. I thought maybe dodgeball. No, there is dodgeball, but there's no keepy uppy. Like, don't you think there should be like funner games at the gay Olympics as opposed to just the normal shit that everybody does?
Yeah, where's pickleball at? What's going on here?
Marathon? Powerlifting?
I wasn't upset before, and I'm upset. Where's the pickleball, guys?
Where's tag? There's nothing fun here. And I just think
hobby horse racing.
Where's hobby horse? Where's air guitar championships? Where's freeze tag?
Where's the hollering contest?
Oh.
Amateur hour, thumb wrestling.
Yeah, tickle fights, rock, paper, scissors, all these things that you could have done. And there's so anyway, that's my only critique of the gays today. Otherwise, I'm very much on their side. All right, Robin.
We all should be.
No, thank you. What's next?
Okay.
Something
this
more
one I'm constantly surprised about. Is it controversial?
No.
Okay, I'm surprised about how memorabilia from sporting events, movies, and music are so sought after. So when someone spent $10 million on buying a used Michael Jordan jersey, it just means that capitalism has gone too far, and some people just have too much money to spend.
Yes.
So this week, another very iconic used T-shirt is being auctioned online.
Egg and the Spoon, another classic. Just real quick, Egg and the Spoon races, fucking three-legged races, potato sacks, huge missed opportunities. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. They're auctioning off Prince's Purple Rain ruffled dress T-shirt. So currently the highest bid is $15,000. That's kind of cheap, I imagine. $15,000.
Is this the one he's way? Oh, okay.
Yes. So okay.
So what's his or Jerry Seinfeld's shirt? Now hold on.
This is if it's Seinfeld, it's got to be more than $15,000, right?
Oh yeah.
This is what's crazy about rich people. They'll just spend their money on wacky shit. I don't know if you know this, but this year I dressed up as Prince. You can just buy one of these on Amazon for $15. There's no reason to spend the $15,000.
You're gonna get his counsel telling away the secrets.
I just buy it. It's the
Don't
thing,
tell
Andy,
anyone about Amazon.
There's Andy. You can feed your friend boozy whipped cream in a fucking Prince shirt. You don't have to spend the $15,000. I just don't understand the thing.
Is Brandon Steiner selling this?
If he's not, he should.
He should be. He's probably got a collection of them.
Yeah, I talk about this a lot too. But this is Dust Heads by Basquiat. There's one right behind me. It went for auction at $48 million. I bought it from posters.com for $20. Like, you don't need the original. It's no more impressive.
Can I tell you something crazy? You're not gonna believe this.
Yes.
The last time you put that up, I took a screenshot of it Now I own it.
Now you have the NFT. Oh my
I'm
God.
the NFT.
You were an NFT.
Now I'm
man.
Basquiat.
Son of a bitch.
So
I spent
Another
20 bucks
round.
and spent no bucks. Oh my
that's
God.
right.
So I guess let's pretend for a second that we can have the kind of money where you can buy dumb memorabilia. Would you, and what would you buy?
I made an NFT once in August of 21 and sold for 340,000.
Oh, you cashed in on the right time. What was the NFT?
It was a special NFT. It was an immersive 3D tour of a famous place in San Francisco called Buckley Woodside. That's where Biden and she met yesterday. But it was at the peak of the. I worked with the owner. We created this 3D camera experience. It's still live on the internet now. I don't know who paid for it. It's all anonymous and on the blockchain, but it was an interesting experience.
Wait, I thought the
might have been
blockchain was supposed to be
SBF.
public. Well, go ahead.
But you don't know who is behind the ID. You know who is the owner, but you don't know like their public persona.
Oh my God, I didn't know. I thought the whole. Oh boy, I'm so confused about this.
So
whole
it could
thing.
be Sam Bankman-Fried,
No.
Sam Frank-Meadman, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
2001 though, you really got in good. Like when people were spending millions of dollars on cartoons.
21, sorry, 2021.
Oh, 21, whatever it was. I mean, it was the height of the fucking the goofiness, right?
It was goofy out there. Yeah, we were just experimenting.
You might be the only person that ever made any money with an NFT.
Yeah. Did you ever lose? Have you lost an equal amount? Like, how did that?
I didn't buy or sell NFTs. It was just the creator.
I think he might be the only person that ever was involved in one that was successful.
You did it right. You got in and you got out at exactly the right
exactly.
moment. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was an interesting learning process, but we had fun doing it.
Yeah, I would imagine making $340,000 would be a fun experience.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
It was a surprise. At the time, it was 105 ETH it sold for, which translates to 340.
Oh shit! Wow. No, good for you.
That's a lot of money.
Robin, if you were loaded, what would you buy as far as celebrity memorabilia goes? Who are you into? Like Taylor Swift or some shit? You're a young boy.
I don't know.
Johnny
but my generation does buy weird stuff like Belle Delphine's bathwater. That was the whole thing.
Belle Delphine, the chick that makes millions every month.
I thought he said Gandalf.
I don't think it's Gandalf bathwater.
I don't even know who that is.
It's magical bathwater. I don't think that's just your generation. I think a lot of us 40-something-year-old incels are also buying. She's making $10 million a month. Everyone's buying the fucking bathwater.
Hey, she's great at marketing. Yeah.
Rodney, do you like anybody enough to buy their used shirt?
No, not so much.
I think if Tom Brady blew his nose on something, I might buy it just for the hell.
He has his own clothing line. You just can order it.
But did he wear it?
I was looking up something one time. He did a Hertz commercial, and it was like, I forgot how I found it. And it was like, this is what Tom Brady wore for that commercial. And I was like, oh, what did he wear? And his jacket was like $4,000. It's a Tom Ford jacket.
Yeah. What about
there he is?
Tom Brady helmet? Look at this man. Isn't he beautiful?
I read an article yesterday, actually, in the Atlantic, and it made me think of it. And it said Bill Belichick's in the New York Magazine. It said Bill Belichick's about to get fired, and no one cares.
Nobody gets better at their job in their 70s. Thank you, Bill Belichick, for everything you've done.
Except for the presidents.
No one gets better at their job in their 70s. Nobody gets better except for Walmart greeters. You get better at your job in your 70s if your job is shitting your pants and not getting boners. Other than that, you do not get better at your job in your 70s. Anyway, what's the next news story? It's on with the Jonathan time.
It is. Okay. Okay, so one thing that's always kind of impressed me about the EU is that you can take one train from the UK to France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany. Now, there's a big effort to take that to the next level. They're calling it the night trains, and they want to give us a luxurious hotel-like experience. It's also an effort to potentially replace short and medium-haul flights. I do hope this gets recognized more by the US because is there a train that you guys can take from the east to the west coast?
I don't fucking know, but I know this. Do not go on trains in the United States. It's a totally different experience everywhere else. But train stations here look like they've been bombed out.
Yeah,
it's where homeless people.
So that's why they should just like invest more in it, improve it.
Like down in Penn Station.
It
down
Wait
in
a
Penn
second,
Station
Robin.
bathroom, there's a couple of cures, I'm sure, for some communicable diseases. Go on there.
No, I was just curious, Robin. Did you just suggest that we
So
use
that's the reason.
taxpayer dollars on the infrastructure of the United States? How dare you? What kind
He's
of
in- he was
socialist
drunk.
bullshit? Listen, you were not going to come here and tell us that we have to use our taxpayer dollars to improve things. I just won't hear of it. We need to go to war, Robin. War. That's the only thing. Anyway,
Yes.
night trains. Can I just say one thing before we get into night trains? Night train is the finest of the bum wines. Rodney, Jonathan, Robin, have you ever had night train? It tastes like a hate crime a little bit. It's
I've
cigarette.
heard of it.
It also inspired a great song by Guns N' Roses. Night Train. Have you heard it? Oh my God.
I have heard that song.
Great song. Anyway, night trains. This makes all the sense in the world, assuming that we do invest in infrastructure. They're saying that you can go somewhere overnight. You get your own little cabin. You can lay down. You can sleep. You get a bathroom, and it's cheaper than flying. What's the problem here?
Now, where's this apartment located in Manhattan? Where's this humble abode at?
It's right downtown.
4,000 a month.
50 grand a month. Yeah. But doesn't this look amazing?
If we had this, so Eric, think about it. If we had this in the Northeast, it would be $500-600 a ride.
Yeah.
Maybe 1,000. We'd have to refinance the house to get on the train.
Thank you for acknowledging it. So I live in Massachusetts. My parents live in DC, the larger DC area. I was going to go down there for a concert, right? So I considered 3 options: driving, flying, and a train. The train was the most ridiculous of the 3. It was more expensive than flying, way more expensive than driving. It looked like shit. I had to drive there.
And you had to take a bunch of different stops, right? And then run and then
Yes.
need to troll under the bridge. It never ends. Like,
Yes.
it's never like, get on this train and just go.
No. Meanwhile, the last 2 places I went in Europe, Italy and Portugal, it was fucking amazing. The trains are gorgeous, on time, clean, beautiful. Everything was right. So it's just fast, affordable. How we invented trains, right? Didn't we in the United States? Didn't we come up with the fucking train idea? Why are we the worst
I
at
thought
Yeah,
it?
the Wright brothers. Wasn't it the
Yeah,
Wright
the
brothers?
invented the trains.
What happened? It's so
I don't know.
backwards.
But if there's anything to avoid this, have you guys ever been to an airport? It's an awful experience. You
Looks
gotta
like
show up-
Southwest.
Yeah, that's definitely Southwest. But waiting in lines, the baggage, showing up 3 hours ahead of time. Oh my God.
You know what's
it's
interesting
terrible.
about Southwest? I just want to say this. So I took a Southwest flight one time, right? You know how they always have in my mind, the people I've always encountered, usually the TSA agents look like they're ex-cons, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, do you have any lotion? What's in your pockets? All this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a guy gets through, right, on the same flight with me. We're on Southwest. He has a bucket, not a bucket, but like a carry-on thing of KFC chicken and a pizza. And I'm thinking, you're worried about the lotion. This guy has, and he brought them with him through.
Wait,
the
you went through
checkout.
security with a pizza? And
Yeah, this was years ago. And they're like, Southwest, are you in Group 1? Everybody's in Group 1. So it's like a mad dash to the plane. You know what I mean? It was so unorganized. It looked like this for a tiny prop plane.
Which one of those shitty airlines doesn't assign seats? That's the thing I hate most.
Southwest.
Oh, that's Southwest. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's them.
What is the financial benefit of not assigning seats? Because it's a goddamn nightmare. Just give me a seat.
Well, that's how fights ensue.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
People are popping the things out that you put on your mouth to survive and choking each other with, give me my seat. Right.
That wouldn't happen on a train, though.
Nah.
Oh my
No.
God, you get your own room, your own bathroom. This is a technology we have and we haven't embraced. Why?
I feel like on a train
Yeah.
though that if you did encounter harm, it would be a villain with a silencer on his weapon.
Yeah,
Like
smoking a
Bond
pipe.
criminal. Yeah,
Smoking a
Bond
pipe.
criminal.
Yeah,
You'd be
that's what-
walk into your room.
Handlebar mustache.
Yeah, his done. Right.
And there's always pretty ladies tied up to train tracks. We have to stop that, from my understanding. If cartoons have taught me anything.
That's exactly right.
All right, I guess. So we praised Europe, but now can we shit on Europe for the last story? Do you mind, Robin?
Oh, yeah, we could.
Thank you.
One last thing I just want to say about the trains is I think electric vehicles is not the way forward for a greener environment. It should just be making public transport better.
Hear me out. Solar powered trains. Huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Time machines.
Okay.
Let's get the Wright brothers on that.
Okay, so the last story might be a bit boring, but it's the first time we get to talk about Iceland. So Iceland is Iceland actually part of Europe? I'm not sure.
No, I think
think
it's
That's
the
what
51st
is it?
state.
Greta Thunberg. She owns Iceland, right?
Yeah, no, I think Bjork.
Isn't
Is
she
Bjork
from
Icelandic?
Sweden?
Or is that Bjork? No,
I don't
I'm
know.
confused.
God, Americans are fucking stupid.
We're horrible
We got
at geography.
Filipino on here, and he doesn't know.
Is
either.
that in Alaska?
No, because we adopted your education system.
Is that
Oh,
Sarah
fuck off.
Palin?
Oh, God damn it. Well,
Okay. All right. Iceland seems like a very beautiful place.
Mm.
It's encompassed by a lot of amazing landforms. Unfortunately, the landforms can be pretty scary. So there's this a region in Iceland, and it's under calamity because there are hundreds of small earthquakes. And now it's not really a big problem because they're just like broken roads and stuff. But the bigger problem is they're worried about a volcanic eruption. So one thing that just confuses me is why even build communities near volcanoes anyways? Can't you just find other places?
Hear me out. I don't think they knew there were volcanoes when they moved in. You know what I mean? But look at this. The Earth
Really?
is trying to swallow Iceland whole. I think the Earth in general is trying to get rid of humans.
This is in New York. Where is
your
this? This is a pothole. Yeah. I mean, the rest of the roads look perfectly fine. What's going on here? This looks great.
Yeah, that's right outside that apartment that we just looked at. But look at this.
Yeah.
This is pretty fucking nuts. Hear me out, though. I think Iceland deserves to be swallowed whole because remember the other day we looked at Nepalese cuisine. Do you remember this? And everybody's like, ooh, that looks delightful. We're confused and scared, but intrigued. Well, I looked up Icelandic cuisine and holy shit.
Oh,
What is that?
Look at the color on that plate.
oh.
Is that an entire face?
It's an entire face. And Robin, you go, listen, they just took this for publicity. No, it's all over the place. This is just a thing that they eat. You're gonna go to the how is the lamb heads here? Oh, the lamb head is delightful. Oh, it is great.
Ask him about the lamb head special.
And the blood pudding.
So I needed some explanation from what might be on here. So this is rye bread with butter, whatever. What we have here is pickled whale blubber, pickled head cheese, dried haddock, smoked lamb, a little mashed potatoes I can get behind, but oh my God, everything just looks so terrible. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Cottage cheese with
Pardon me.
shrimp
What
on it?
what is head cheese?
I
That
think
animal you saw earlier, he makes cheese.
That's
I don't know.
is that what that is?
you just start scraping around and hoping you find some cheese.
I
in
mean,
the head.
does that head not look very Shrek-like with the ears? Right? I mean, that's just like if
It
somebody
does.
came out with that, I'd be like, "You're joking, right? Get out of here! Come on!" I'd be like, "Is this cake?"
What do you? Oh, thank you. Oh my God, what a beautiful transition. So not only do they eat this shit, but they also eat this thing.
The puffin?
No.
They eat a puffin. But it gets worse than that because you go, listen, man. Like we talked about yesterday, we don't like eating cute animals. It's a cute
It's
animal.
birdie,
But,
yeah.
yeah, it's a bird though, right? So you marinate it a little bit, fry it up, it would be good. You know what these fucking lunatics do? I watched the show once. They stuff it with cake like funfetti, and then boil it. this is yes, look it up. It's a real fucking story. They catch these birds, put funfetti in them, and boil it. Now,
They say Filipino food's exotic. This is something else.
Yikes.
you know what this is? This is one more thing before we get into Jonathan. So these Icelandic lunatics, this is shark meat. They bury it in the ground for 12 weeks, ferment it, dry it for 5 months, and they say it tastes exactly like urine. What is going on?
Perfect.
Now do you understand why Iceland's being pulled into hell? It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't. You had a story a couple of weeks ago, Eric. Now that I'm thinking on it, and it was about all of the what was it? Michelin star rated restaurants. I'm going to assume
Yes.
there's 0 in Iceland. Is that? safe to
I
say?
should have looked that up. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I would starve there too. Believe me, I think we all would.
Listen, I don't want to shit too hard on Iceland either, but I happen to know that there's like 6 families. So the bloodline is very incestuous, not because I think they like incest, but because it's so small, there's not a lot of people. So you just accidentally fuck your cousin. For
Maybe
300
people
years.
starve to death.
Yeah. There's only one way that this seems reasonable if you're a product of incest, right? I mean, let's be honest with ourselves, Robin.
We're going to need a lot of hot sauce for that stuff to go down.
I
Anyway,
was not involved with the writing of this show.
And nobody was. Listen, what a beautiful transition, though. Jonathan, tell us. All right, we'll get there later. All right. It is the Jonathan portion of the evening. Welcome to the show. Sorry, it was a bit controversial today. We had a more controversial story, but we ran out of time, so we'll just skip that. Can you give us a little bio before we start asking questions about you?
Yeah, sure. So I've been in marketing for the better part of 25 years. I've lived and worked in Silicon Valley, living in San Francisco for 32 years before moving to Europe and ultimately ending up here in Florida. I've been VP of marketing or CMO of public and private companies throughout the years. And for about 14, 15 years, I had my own business called the Artesian Network, and we had about 40 clients. About 50%, a little over 50% of them reaching exits, successful exits. So We've done a lot of work in all enterprise, B2B technology companies, a lot in data and AI as of late. So including Crux being the latest one.
Nice. So where'd you live in Europe?
I lived in Barcelona and then London.
Nice.
Good food in Barcelona, bad teeth in London though, right? Nobody brushes over there.
Well, actually, they're getting much better.
They
Both
found
ways
dentistry.
to love Barcelona. I lived right across.
Barcelona's gorgeous.
Barcelona's unbelievable. All the food's amazing. Everyone's hot. Oh, it's just sangria. Can we talk about? So, can we? I do want to talk about this, but you got mugged in San Francisco recently. Is this a thing that happened?
Yeah. Thanks for taking that up.
Eric leaves no stone unturned.
I don't. I do deep research.
Back in August, I had 2 minutes before my Uber was to arrive and bring me to this work function, and I was right on Alamo Square. If people know San Francisco at all, it's where all the painted ladies from like Full House, And so I was coming out of one of the painted ladies, and 2 minutes to go, and this car pulls up, and 4 guys in masks. They ended up being 16-year-olds.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but you don't know. They came
you
out
had no idea.
and I was surrounded. They took everything. But thank God I didn't get hurt. I didn't get pistol whipped. I didn't get obviously shot or anything like that. I had just a note on that story. I had one of the 2 laptops they stole was still on and sending pings. So I worked with the police, and we ended up nabbing 2 of the 4.
Wow.
But automatic weapons with loaded when they found the guy. So I was very, very blessed not to.
Yeah, can I say a comment about that? Like, if you were 5 years old and you have a loaded weapon on you, take what you need, right? I mean, 4 people with loaded weapons, I would have been like, who else has got something here? Give it to them.
Yeah,
but this was broad daylight too.
What's insanity? Yeah.
It was 12:30 in the afternoon. It was a bright sunny day. It was in the big tourist area. There was an angel of a guy across the street who created a distraction with the driver of the car, which made them hasten their time with me. They didn't end up getting my phone or my wallet, but they took everything else. I couldn't get my watch off fast enough. I was shaking. Jesus. It's a lot, but
yeah,
San Francisco's going through some tough times.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason I ask. I don't want to bring up a traumatic experience for its own sake, but we do the news every day, and there's a lot of San Francisco stories about how horrible it is, that in California in general. But then we did a story one day about somebody came out and was like, it's not that bad. Crime's on par with the rest of the major American cities. Is that the truth, or is it worse? Is it as bad as it is portrayed to be, I guess is the question.
Well, there's a lot of hyperbole out there for sure. Look, I spent 32 years in the city. I got robbed a total of 9 times over those years.
9 times?
Yeah, so this is the only one where I was held up, but I had a burglar in my building and was grinding my bike at 2 a.m. We found him. But car break-ins and all that sort of stuff. San Francisco some time ago lost, the word was 1,500 officers at one point. They didn't want to take the vaccine, which became a requirement. And they still haven't made up for the loss of beats on the street. And
holy shit.
Mondays and Tuesdays, they don't have plainclothes officers out there. And
this is publicized so the criminals know that Mondays and Tuesdays, there's no cops on the street?
Apparently. A lot of this
like to let everyone know what's going on.
That's good. That's the days we take off. Oh, my God.
Our schedule's online.
COVID was not good to that town. I mean, it attracted a lot of folks. Like any city, though, so some of the, I have a friend who defends San Francisco vehemently. I'm at arm's length at this point, but some of the measurements show that it's on par with other cities. Yeah. I think there's a lot of unreported stuff that goes on. In this case, obviously, I reported it, and and whatnot. But it was a horrible experience. But it's past now. You know.
Is that why you live in Florida now? It was 9 burglaries too many. I mean, that's a lot of crime. I have 0. And you
Over
have 9.
32 years, you know, I don't know how many bikes I had to buy, like 3 or 4 bikes. You know, I set up a camera in my car, parked and locked in the building, and it got robbed. And I got the robber on video, but the police didn't want to do anything with it at the time. So, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Move to Florida, I guess, is the answer to that question. Although,
yeah.
How many times have you been robbed down there?
I have not been robbed yet.
Oh, there you go. Let's chalk one up for Florida. So is this the thing, the thing you were talking about, the 3D experience?
Yeah, that's the immersive 3D NFT that we shot and auctioned off in August of 21.
So it was a 3D tour of somewhere specific, and it was good. See, in the metaverse, doesn't everybody still look like blocky? But this was better. This was the real deal.
Yeah, you can actually go hit and tour the place if you have the URL. But Bucks at Woodside is really famous for those that work in Silicon Valley. It's ground zero for so many companies funding. You know, Tesla, PayPal, Yahoo, I think. I don't. eBay definitely got funding there. It's only got 38 seats, but it happens to be in this little spot where venture capitalists and entrepreneurs have met since the early 90s. And its walls are covered with a lot of Silicon Valley history, like, you know, Apple Computer One and, you know, just knickknacks and all of that. So when you do this immersive tour, you get to see all these things, and it's a record of history. When I started working with the owner of it, he was about ready to transfer ownership of the place to his sons and wanted an historical sort of record taken. And you know, we figured we'd experiment with NFTs, and that was that.
And you did well.
Yeah.
It was fun. And I met a lot of great people doing it. Yeah.
So hear me out. You have said, you have read that I would be surprised at the amount of famous and successful people that are going on things like DMT retreats or ayahuasca, you know, vacations. Do you think maybe there's a correlation between people coming up with wild, innovative technology and the use of psychedelics that would, I don't know, release or connect with some parts of the brain we don't use all the time?
Absolutely. These things tend to augment your creativity, but it's a group of people, the West Coast, a group of people that don't mind being outside a box.
Yeah.
You know, it's relatively new and interesting, and then word of mouth. It's kind of an underground word of mouth community.
Yeah.
It spreads quickly.
But these are successful people doing this stuff, so here's my experience. I threw a mushroom dinner party somewhat recently, and all the people that I invited I knew they were into mushrooms, but I was like, fuck it. I was at soccer practice, and I invited a couple people that I didn't know that well to the mushroom dinner party. I was like, I'm going to cook dinner. We're going to eat mushrooms. We're going to watch weird shit on TV, listen to music, talk, giggle. And it was like I was offering them crack, because I think there's such a stigma associated with this shit. But if you're telling me the most powerful people on the planet, those who live, I think, probably in the Silicon Valley area, are doing it, it's just such a disparity between what some people think and others. But the others who don't like it, they ain't running shit. They're not working for Apple or Google, you know? So it's strange, isn't it? The way we
specify what kind of mushrooms.
The psilocybin is becoming legalized in certain areas, you know, like Oakland across the bay from San Francisco. It's legal now to, I guess, sell it. It's easy to get it. But yeah, you know, look at the path that marijuana went through.
Right.
And now what do we have? 40 states or something? Some outrageous number of states have sort of legalized it. And that was branded as like lowbrow, you know, kind of activity. And now you bring it to dinner parties, you know?
Yeah. That's so true. I was thinking about this recently because I watched the documentary on the band Cypress Hill. Remember them?
Oh yeah.
So when they signed, I think it was I forget who it was, Def Jam or someone. Anyway, they went in. They were like, "You guys are good, but you don't have a hook. You don't have a gimmick." They go, "Well, LL Cool J, he's for the ladies. He's hot, and they want to bang him." And they're like, "The Beastie Boys are this." They go, "You need a hook." So they went back and they go, we love weed. That's our thing. We're gonna be all about weed." And that was the thing. If a band comes out today all about weed, we go, all right, so what? Like what the fuck? It's been so in 1995, rapping about weed was the wildest shit you can do. And now to your point, you just dinner parties, right? It's like white wine now.
It used to be avant-garde, but it's not. Like I said earlier when we were speaking, Town and Country magazine
right
wrote a whole article about 5-MeO DMT and how the hoity-toity are starting to embrace it in small little clusters and communities. I don't know. I was very surprised. This is not a street drug. It's not a recreational drug. No one. It's like I said, ceremonial, enhances creativity, eliminates the ego when confronting and analyzing problems that you may have. I mean, allegedly, this is what it does.
Allegedly. So you've heard in books. And
the Town and Country article.
In the Town and Country article.
Really not something you'd want to do over and over and over again. This is not an addictive, not even psychologically addictive kind of thing. It's one and done or a few times done.
I think didn't Gwyneth Paltrow in her dumb docuseries, didn't they do ayahuasca? Like once Gwyneth Paltrow gets involved in Town and Country, you gotta go fucking white people. Again, just ruining something else for the rest of us. I'm aware I'm white.
I wonder though if like psilocybin gets to a point where it's totally normalized, people will just think, oh, it's not cool anymore. Do you think it's going to become like a culture like that?
I think so. Look, there are public companies now that are traded on the public exchanges that I think Compass Pharmaceuticals is one of them. I think it's out of Europe, but it's basically trying to take psilocybin and help with PTSD help. So the world is changing in psychedelics quite a bit. I don't know if you guys have ever tried microdosing, for instance. With psilocybin is very popular.
You know who loves microdosing? Caesar Marin. Happy birthday! Yeah, he's
happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah, that's his.
Yeah,
so he was a guest on the show. He used to work at CNN for 25 years, but he's a late in life microdoser, and he's trying to explain to older people that it's amazing and you should try it because I think a certain generation grew up being scared of LSD and they threw the baby out with the bathwater when it came to hallucinogenics and psychedelics. And it's just, when I try to get people to do mushrooms, I'm a pusher. I'm just like, it's one of the most innocuous experiences. It's like, I'm a drinker. I love drinking. It's so much better than drinking. You're in control. It's just better, and people are scared of it. I don't understand. Robin, you don't think so? You don't drink hard enough.
I know with the mushrooms bit, there are some people I think that cannot control themselves, and I, for one, especially if I'm macrodosing, I for one cannot really be extremely predictable if I go into that. Oh,
interesting. I've never had a bad trip, so maybe I need to get a bad trip to understand what that is. But I've drank and done dumb things. I've never done mushrooms and done dumb things, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we should talk about some business. I am too dumb to understand what Crux does.
Yeah, what's the crux of it? I've been waiting to say that all day.
You did it. Oh my God. I really tried last night, and it could be because I was drunk, but I could not help me understand. Explain it.
In layman's sense, a lot of companies, we focus in financial services as a vertical that's popular for us, buy massive amounts of data from various sources in order to populate their AI engine or to do data science, run analytic models. Companies like Goldman Sachs or Two Sigma or others are customers. And there is no standard format. There is no standard way to have something delivered, data that's bought regularly into machinery, into your AI backend. So what Crux does is normalize all of it. We're the go-between where we take the data from the data suppliers and deliver it to companies where they want it, when they want it, and in the format that they can use and use reliably. So think of it as the go-between. So it's all external data. Companies like Refinitiv and FactSet and Moody's, where we can take this data and bring it in a normalized, consumable way for the companies. So it's sort of following the general trend in adoption of AI, and obviously it's been long adopted data science in financial services. So.
And you're the CMO. How do you market something like this? It's you can't do anything sexy, right? You can't do hot chicks eating a cheeseburger or anything like that. So what do you do to market?
It's hard to make it funny.
Right.
Right.
Is your data funny?
Yeah. So what do you do?
So it's a sniper's game, a sniper's war. So there's two things. You can broaden the appeal of the company from the outside looking in. For instance, we were just named 296 on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies.
I saw that.
But it's a sniper's game in developing business in a pipeline. So by persona, company size and dimensions, and you reach out to them through various different means. So
all the traditional stuff, it's just a very technical sale, I would imagine.
It's a very technical sale, yeah.
It's a long sales process, right?
It's a lot less costly and troublesome for a company to use a Crux to acquire their data and deliver the data, I should say, than it is to hire a bunch of data scientists that are caught up in the plumbing. Like the data show that 70% of time spent by a data scientist is in that actually getting the data, normalizing it, and then using it for consumption. We want to flip that. So it's 70% of time they're actually developing models, or they're developing insights out of the models. So that's why we exist.
God, way too dumb to understand this. Thank God they made LinkedIn Live and you can do shit like this. Can we talk? So you did something with Alan Watts' son, right? I saw a video.
Oh, you've been doing some digging, yeah.
Oh, he's a digger. He's a digger. We call him
you're
digger.
a spiritual fella. Oh, I'm a digger. I dig deep. Get all up in there in the guests. So tell us about this. So you were obviously bent on the philosophical, right? So did you seek out Alan Watts' what was that?
Yeah, his son Mark. Well, I started a little production company. I'm actually an aerial cinematographer on the side. It's been a side hustle since 2017.
I'm sorry, you side hustle in aerial cinematography? Was that right?
Aerial cinematography. Yeah, I've got some movies, some documentaries, commercials, music videos under my belt. Well, I wanted to launch the website for it, Elevar Pictures. And if you go to elevarpictures.com, you pull it up, there's an Alan Watts speech over music that plays with an introduction to the film. So
you did those aerial shots?
Yeah, I did all of them. Yeah.
I'm not just saying this because you're here. Those are fucking good. Really good. I know they're good, but they're good.
I appreciate that. It's something I haven't paid much attention to in the last year or two, being in Europe and then ending up here in Florida. But I intend to get back to it. We shot a good movie that won in some festivals best cinematography, called The Etruscan Smile. And you'll recognize the actors and actresses. The main actor is the lead actor in Succession, for instance.
Wow.
And Patricia Arquette was in it, and a whole bunch. You'll recognize all the actors and actresses. But there's one day I was putting my stuff out on Vimeo and YouTube, just experimenting. I got into drones because I had a son. We needed weekend projects, and we ended up getting into drones and duct taping GoPros to them, and it just got out of hand. And I would just put my stuff out there. I got an email one day from an Academy Award nominated director who said, I'm doing an Arthur Cohen film and I could use somebody that films in San Francisco. Are you up for it? And boy, a week I spent with that director one-on-one was probably the best learning curve time of my life. I learned so much. And it was Oded Binnen is his name, out of Israel. And anyway, it's a weird way I got into that because I'm marketing, but I got into aerial cinematography on the side.
Cool.
What a beautiful segue into something I'm going to bitch about, and I bitch about constantly. So I'm in marketing, you're in marketing. If you were to go to a normal marketing agency and say, listen, this is a target. We have to persona people. What about the CMO? We're going to go after him. They're going to go, he's probably fucking a boring dork, right? Certainly he's not into aerial cinematography or reading a lot about 5-MeO DMT. You know what I mean? My point is personas are garbage because you are a whole complete person that does interesting things. But from a marketing perspective, we always look at people with C in front of their name and assume very specific things about them. Never
You're
that
reading
they're
the encyclopedia.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. Don't you think? All the wacky shit you do, hanging out with Alan Watts' kid, doing aerial cinematography, reading a lot about psychedelics. That's not who we as marketers think that anyone with a C in front of their name. It just drives me crazy. Anyway.
Well, that's when you're interviewing for a new CMO, make sure you get to know the person. You know, you've got, I don't know, 100 CMOs lined up. I don't know how many would have extra. A lot of CMOs that I know have extra gigs, side hustles, element. For me, being in B2B marketing all these years, there was a time where we could be a lot more creative and have fun. Like I did some of the first videos as part of the online videos for selling and years ago, or experimented with before ABM was a thing, you know, developing small ABM systems. The creativity's been wrung out of B2B marketing so much. It's now overly quantified. This isn't to say the data isn't important, but you forget that there's an art and a science. Marketing, not just a science. And the B schools are making, my kid's one of them. He's going to graduate school for business analytics. They don't focus on developing the intuitive, creative side of marketing, at least not in B2B, just not, you know, B2C, there's a lot, or in C2C, the B2C stuff is, allows a lot more creativity, but it's missing, you know?
Well, here's a fun game. Ask anyone in marketing who their favorite marketer is or what their favorite marketing book is. Now, what does that matter? Ask someone that wants to play professional football who their favorite player is. They fucking know. They live and breathe it, right? But in this, it's all data. I blame the internet because as soon as creativity didn't have to be part of it, it was eliminated immediately. As soon as you could measure everything, they're like, well, I guess button color matters, but outside of that, it doesn't. And it does matter. It matters so fucking much, but it's immeasurable. So we're not concerned with it because we're so obsessed with, you know, numbers, data, spreadsheets.
It's true. Well, and ultimately, it's a people's business. So you got to find a people's person that's also good with the quant side.
Exactly.
It's tough to find a good CMO these days because you're definitely biased probably towards the science side of things.
Oh, absolutely.
You absolutely need to handle on that. You need to be data driven, but you also have to have a person that's empathetic and intuitive and creative to bring to the process as well. And that's when you get the best results, I think.
You need to know people, and that's why I own a marketing agency. And every client from 190west.com, every month we send them a goat's head because we know that's what the people want. We want to be memorable. You know, we want to please them. So
I didn't get my goat head this month.
I'm so sorry. It's on its way. It was a quick plug for another show. If you guys want to go watch another LinkedIn Live at 11:30, Daniel Allison is part of Jenny Wendy and the Average Dude. All right. Well, we don't have much time. You've been great. Do you want to talk about, you want to push Crux a little, see if you get any clients out of this bad boy?
Sure. Particularly financial services related companies, but it might be a supply chain issue for larger companies. If you're buying a large quantity of external data and bringing it into Snowflake, into AWS, a variety of places, Databricks, Crux can help with that entire process. From acquisition, right? We don't do acquisition, but after the data's acquired, move it in a reliable, predictable way that's monitored over time. And it might be a right fix for Crux, which is cruxdata.com.
Cruxdata.com. All right, listen, you were great. Thanks for coming on. Do not leave. Hold on. Can you stay in the green room for 2 seconds? We just have to log off the thing because LinkedIn kicks us off at the hour mark. Anyway, have a lovely evening, America. We'll be back tomorrow.
We'll be by tomorrow.
Oh my God. Why can't I talk? Probably the psilocybin. Anyway.